is a 30-minute. We're working on the core and also working into our joint end ranges, so creating a strong, supple seat. We want to not be only working in the range that we've currently got, so we're already strong there. It's working into those end ranges so that when we lose balance on the horse, when we're put into a position that our body isn't used to, that we're still strong, still stable, to support our body. So we're going to start off with just a little warm-up joint. So starting off just rolling the head, nice big circles. So trying to really focus on nice deep breaths. Around through the feet, and then you're just reversing the circle, go back the other way. And just shrugging the shoulders up and round. And then reverse the circles, go back, up. Just waking up the body. And then just going to come to the back of your mat. You're going to roll, starting from your chin, so rolling all the way down your spine. Hands to the mat and just walking the hands out into a plank position. And then press back into your down dog, so pedaling the feet, trying to get the heels down to the ground, stretching the back line of your body. Stretching out those hamstrings. Nice deep breaths, and then when you're ready, you're just going to roll forward and drop the knees down to the mat, making sure the knees are underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to move into some cat-cows. So, those of you who haven't done cat-cows before, cow is bringing the chin up, looking up towards the ceiling. And cat, dropping the chin, rolling up. And as you do this, I want to think of you moving the core, so really sucking in, use the bottom half of your core, so think of the tailbone pointing downwards as you move into the cat, head looking towards your knees, and then cow, dropping the belly down. Think of someone's almost got a weight on your back pressing down, you're looking up, head up towards, and think of your core still working. You don't just want to flop and press into the shoulders, press away. Nice and long spine. You might find tuning one particular area of your back is particularly tight. So just spending a little bit longer trying to really press into that area. You can move side to side here. Stretching into the spine. Looking up. And from here, we're going to really get into and activate our core. So for this, you want to think of, so this one's cat, and that one's cow. Think of the cat pose for the bottom half of your spine, and the top half, you're trying to pull against it, so pressing into cow. So you're going to tuck the tailbone, so think of this section, really sucking in and down. And then your top half, just drawing your head up, looking up towards you, feeling that pull in your core, especially in this midsection, really working those lower abs. Tucking the toes underneath, and just going to hover the knees off the floor and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly dropping down. And then we're going to do that one again. So really soft, return to neutral, and then think of tucking that tailbone again, head pulling away into that cow pose. So cat for the bottom half, cow, and then lifting off and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slowly back down. Just going to do that twice more through. You should start to feel the pull in the lower abs, and the top's obviously trying to pull away. And if we do it all in cow, we'll end up more pushing through our shoulder than hunching, so it's more about that pull from the bottom half, which we want for that stable seat and going moving with the horse. So using these lower abs here, which often get forgotten. So once again, bottom half, tailbone pointing down, and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly dropping down. Nice deep breath. So just going to do one more. So tucking the tailbone, heart shining forward. Lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to press back into your down dog and pedal the feet again. And then come into the top of your mat, either step step or jump forward, sitting into a deep squat if you can, so mobilising the hips. Don't worry if the heels don't get to land, just rocking side to side. If you're a little bit higher, don't worry, this is one to try and practice every day, try and improve the mobility of the hips, and not only that, not only for your riding, for your health also. Rocking side to side. And then you're just going to come to sitting, feet out in front of you, so heels into the ground, chest up, and this one you're going to think of sitting on your seat bones, and then just rolling away, lightly tapping behind you. It's a nice, slow, controlled movement. And this one we're thinking of rolling in the pelvis, so you're rolling away from the seat bones and rolling up on top of them, so we're using this section of our core again to control the movement. Try not to swing round and try not to press off the floor as you reach back behind you. Nice deep breaths. And here we'll try not to let the legs sway as well, so we're not moving side to side. So again, when we're on our horse, turning to the side, using your body, turning a corner, we're not shifting our whole weight, shifting our pelvis and letting the horse fall in. But keeping a nice, strong, stable seat and being more aware of our core and that feeling of core strength. Don't worry if you don't feel it quite yet. If you've got any questions on this, do drop me a message after. This one does take practice. Just going to do a couple more here. And then sitting roughly in the centre of your mat, just going to hold just behind you. Make sure you've got enough space to rock back on this one, because you're rolling like a ball. So holding your hamstrings, just gently rolling back. And then coming up to balance, so try not to let the heels touch the floor. And this one, you're really trying to keep a curved spine, so all the time, you give that curved spine, keep looking at your feet, so you don't want to hear a thump onto the mat. Think of getting each vertebrae of your spine down to the mat one at a time, in a nice, smooth, fluid movement. So for those of you that have joined me before, you'll know the variations for this one, so sticking the legs out is one, if this feels easy. Taking arms and legs away, a lot more tricky. Taking opposite arm and leg, add a little bit of coordination. Or leaving it as you are and just focusing on the balance. Trying to get a little reach away just helps really activate the core. And try and keep nice and stable and still in the top half of your body. So whichever variation you're doing, we've just got a few more here. Two more. So really controlling the breathing. Then you're just going to roll back, onto your back, just hug the knees in, roll side to side. You should be really feeling that core now. And then you're going to slowly, so turn the feet down, try and find your neutral. So when we talk about neutral, there is a slight curve in our back here, and we want to, for this next movement, close that gap. So imagine like you're pressing, imagine I've got my hand here and you're pressing that hand, and you don't want to let the hand go, so you're keeping that gap closed. Lift one foot then the other off the floor. Opposite hand and leg, and you're just going to reach opposite hand and leg away. Bring it back in. All the time, trying to focus on not letting that hand escape your back. And it helps just to feel putting something there, putting a piece of paper, something just for the feel. It's a really controlled core, so we're not swinging off the back, opening the rib cage, so rib cage down, really using the core. So imagine the core like a spring, so between your knee and your hand as you pull away, you've got that spring, and then you're slowly recoiling it. Nice deep breaths. If that's too far to reach away, just tapping to the ground, or just focus on just the knees, have your hands on the knees, just tapping. Just trying to get that core activation, and without the core, so core, our major role of our core is a stabiliser, so we're trying to stabilise the core here while moving arms and legs, so creating that independent seat. Yeah, just one more here. Yeah, and then bringing the knees in. If on any of these exercises you start tilting your back, just take a break. Roll the knees side to side. We're not going to gain anything by pushing through that. We're just going to encourage that overarch in our spine. So we really want to make sure core's activated, that back's nice and flat to the ground. Right, then next you're going to take knees up to leave them where they are. Okay, take your arms overhead, run a nice big circle round. So a good shoulder mobility one, but also really working the core to hold us stable while moving the hands independent. That feels easy. You try to take the feet a little bit further away. Encourage a little bit more core activation. Maybe one more here. And then just hug those knees again. And we're going to come up to kneeling when you're ready. And so often in the core, as we've spoken about before, we focus so much on the front and not enough on the back. We end up getting so stiff, and often our posture at work, we're always forward driving, everything is always forward, so we don't do enough bending backwards and using our back extensor muscles, which are part of the core. So core is not only front, it's everything, rib cage to the pelvis, all our core sides, back and front. So these ones, starting off kneeling, and you're just going to gently lean back and try and touch back behind you. And coming up, so it's going to feel a slight pull on the hip flexors on the front. Just gently leaning back behind. If you need to support your back here, do it. If you need to hold on to something in front, just trying to encourage. Oh, so often we feel so tight in the hip flexors. I'm just trying to encourage strong and long. Tapping back behind, reaching as far back as you can. We're really trying to use that core to keep us stable, so we're not overarching and flexing into the spine. Keeping nice straight spine. Think of long, someone's pulling you from the top of your head. Reach back behind. Two more. Good, nice. Then hands down, taking yourself back into your down dog, just pedaling the feet. And then you're going to take right foot up, reach open up that hip, and then step it to inside your hands and just gently rocking backwards and forwards, stretching into that hip. Then we're going to work in, as I was mentioning at the start, about those end ranges. So often when we do sustain that position, but so often we're just going to demonstrate the lunges, we kind of get to here and then we lose our stability, we lose our balance. So for this one, we're going to work in that end range. So keeping the leg nice and long, keeping this nice and stable, just going to gently drop the back knee almost to the floor, and then think of someone and straighten the leg up. So we're just working that end range, that very bottom movement of the lunge. So nice deep breaths, nice and slow movement. Really think as you come up, that glute activating to pull you up. The front of the leg, again, those hip flexors are nice and strong, long. 3, keep going, 2, 1. Good, and then returning back to your down dog, just stretch out the legs. Nice deep breaths. And then we're going to swap sides. So you're going to take left leg up, open up, it forward. Don't worry if you need to drop that back knee and step it forward, that's fine. So just between your hands and just starting off with these gentle rocks, backwards and forwards. And then you're going to stay forward, just dropping that back knee almost to the floor, so you're hovering it, pull straighten. So you're using the glute, pull the leg nice and straight. You should feel it down the front of the leg. Working those hip flexors. So often we avoid working what's tight when actually what they need is to be stronger so they don't keep tightening up and preventing our movement. We want them to be strong and long. Good, keep going. 3, 2, 1 more. Then this time you're going to slide the right foot up behind you so you're sat on your right heel and you're just going to gently move into some ankle mobility. So from the front, I'm just moving, keeping the knee in track with the toes and just gently rocking forward. From the side, I'll move my leg out the way so you can see. So we try to press into the foot, so you're pressing through your toes, and notice, are you shifting over to your big toe? Are you shifting more to the outside of your foot? You're trying to keep it nice and straight and neutral and really stretch into the back of the calf. So just gently rocking and moving the foot side, the knee side to side as well. Just trying to open up the ankle. Just doing a couple of pulses. So often we get such tight calves, tight in the ankle, means that our lower leg can be quite unstable. So we're trying to increase the ankle mobility. And then just from here, coming up onto the ball of your foot, so you're lifting your heel and then gently back down, trying to think of that, keeping the arch. So if you're flat-footed, you're really trying to make sure you create that arch. If you've got seriously high arches, you're trying to make sure you come down nice and straight, so not putting extra pressure anywhere on the ankle joint. Good, one more. And then from there, returning back to your down dog, and then you're just going to bring the right foot forward again, slide the left leg underneath, and just do the same for the right side, so you're pressing into the ankle joint. Again, watching the arch and make sure you're pressing through big toe and all your other 4 toes nice and equally, getting the knee tracking over that middle toe. So often we spend so long worrying about our horse's feet, making sure they've got the right farrier, and neglect our own feet. They are our foundations and so important. Good, and then just doing the heel raises, coming up onto the ball of your foot and then gently dropping down. Good, one more. Good, and then stepping back to your down dog, and then you're going to bring the left foot forward to the outside of your left hand, then you're just going to swivel around, sitting back into that Cossack squat. Don't worry how low you get, it's not important, it's working within your range. Trying to stretch that inner thigh, and then we're going to shift our weight and move over to the other side, bring the opposite foot up so the left toes come up, and then you're just gently moving between these 2 movements. Again, don't worry about the height or where you're at. We're really trying to stretch into that inner thigh. Think of the core nice and strong along to that tailbone tucking underneath that we were doing before. We'll do the same here. Hands out in front. You can even imagine like you've got your reins staying forward. One more, and then swivel, turn towards your right foot. Just going to step back to your down dog, and then we're going to come into our side style ones to finish. So starting kneeling, you're going to reach your hand so it's in line with your knee. Reach your foot out and you're just going to gently bring the foot off the ground and back down. So here we're really trying to focus on the side core, that we're not, as we bring it up, we're not swinging and lifting in our core, so keep the core nice and stable. We're just moving the leg up and down, so focusing on this glute here, away from this bottom hand. Nice deep breaths. you, then kicking back. So you're trying to keep this leg parallel with the ground so we're not hitching the hip. Keeping the core nice and stable, so press up, use that side waist. And touch is such a good one for these. If you're not feeling it there, just giving the muscle a gentle little poke, reminding it needs to work. Stop being lazy. Good, one more, and then we're going to move on to everyone's favourite little circles. So 5 one way, and then 5 back the other way. And then gently returning down. You're just going to reach, stretching over, so stretching into that side waist now. And then coming back, and we're just going to swap sides. So left leg goes out, right side waist, lifting that bottom leg, just gently lifting and lowering. Focusing on stability in the core, and lifting up. One more. And then just bringing that knee in towards, kicking back nice and straight, keeping the leg parallel. One more here. Keep focusing, keeping nice and stable, then you've just got these little circles. Stay with me, 2, 1, then back the other way. 3, 2, 1. Good, knees back. Just take a little stretch in child's pose. So we're going to move into our hip swing. So starting in tabletop position, you're going to kick your right leg back and straight. Just taking it, cross it back behind your other hip, and then bring it out to the side. And this time with these, we're focusing on our core focus today, keeping this torso nice and stable. So think of working tailbone again, shooting down, core nice and strong. You should really, as you bring to the side, really feel the activation in the side core, especially this right here to keep you nice and stable. You'll feel the glute activation as well as you bring round. Really focus on keeping that core nice and stable. So like the one we started off with at the beginning, lift the chest. So top half, think cat. Sorry, cow. Bottom half, think cat. Good. One more here. Good. And returning, and you swap sides. So same thing, press away from the hand, top half goes into cow, bottom half goes into cat, reaching back behind, cross, so torso nice and strong. Good, just a couple more here. Glutes should be really working, especially after those last ones we just did, those activation ones. Pressing away from your hands, one more. There, then the knees back. Quick little child's pose. And then we're going to come forward into someone pulling your way with your heels and through the top of your head, so nice long. Straight spine. Same thing with that tailbone tucking underneath, chest lifting up and forward. Just going to gently roll, drop one hip down to the ground and the other. Really working into those side core. Core nice and strong. Stay with me, just got a few more here. And then you've just got one more exercise, a nice one I promise. 3, resting all the way down to the mat, taking the hands wide, so just off the edge of the mat. Lift your knee off the floor and just twist to the opposite side, trying to get that foot over and round. So again, another backline one, focusing on the twist into the spine, the stretch for the front of the body and activating the back line. So as you kick over, you're looking towards the side that you're kicking. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Kick. Just got a few more here, so one more on each side. And then we can move into our stretch, so just pressing back away into your child's pose. So take the knees nice and wide on the mat and really sit back, reaching the hands all the way forward. Nice deep breaths. And then rocking forward, you're just going to bring left hand underneath the right, try and get that shoulder to the floor, looking underneath your armpit. Then press up away using your right hand. Left hand goes to the floor, right hand goes underneath, so swapping sides. Hands to the mat, tuck the toes underneath, press back to the down dog and just pedal the feet out again. And then you're going to bring right foot up and then just bring it next to your right hand, drop that back knee and just gently rock backs and forwards. So for these stretches we're focusing more on restorative poses, so just gently moving within your range. We're not trying to gain any extra here, not getting any extra flexibility. It's more about returning the breathing back to normal, returning the heart rate, and just gently cooling down the body. And then staying forward, you're just going to lift right hand up, reach, look towards your fingertips. And then try and get that elbow down to the inside. Let the head flop. And then hands back together, knees back, back to your down dog again, pedaling the feet. And then left leg goes up, bring to the outside of your left hand, drop the back knee, then just gently rock backs and forwards. Stay forward, just lift the left hand, reach up through your left fingertips, looking towards those fingertips and stretching away from your hand. And then try to get that elbow down to the inside. Then hands back together, knees back together, back to your down dog, and then you're just going to slowly walk your feet towards your hands, and as you get there, just grabbing hold of the elbows and gently twist side to side, keeping the chin tucked in. Then just going to let go of your elbow, swing side to side, and then slowly with each swing just getting a little bit higher, making sure you keep that chin tucked in. Slowly rolling all the way up. As you get to the top, just shrugging the shoulders back and round, move the head side to side. And I hope you're feeling better now than when we started. And yeah, any questions on any of those, do give me a shout. There's a lot of information on the call. Touch on it briefly if you have any questions.